Internet, Eric here. 12 Days of Christmas Horror going on again still. This is day 4. If you don't know what that concept is, 12 horror movies, 12 reviews, or discussion videos as I like to call them, uploaded in 12 days. And most of these, like I said, are going to be first time watches or second time watches where I remember absolutely nothing about the first time I watched it, so it counts. Today, we're going to talk about another classic. You know, Black Christmas was supposedly a classic. Today, I'm talking. You can't really see with the glare, but there we go. Silent Night, Deadly Night, the original. I always remember that cover of Santa with the axe coming out of the chimney. You know my channel, welcome. Plot spoilers, specific scenes are discussed, blah, blah, blah. This came out in 1984, I believe. And the basic plot of this is we're following Billy. Billy is or how do I say this? When Billy was young, he witnessed his parents killed, and his mom was going to have been raped, and both of the parents were killed by a man in a Santa suit. And after that, he and his brother Ricky were sent to an orphanage run by nuns, and Billy is dealing a lot with his PTSD while also dealing with the meanest fucking Mother Superior you've ever seen. And eventually, Billy grows up, gets out of the orphanage, gets a job at a toy store, and eventually he's put into the job as the Santa Claus for the children at the toy store, and that triggers everything for him, the past PTSD stuff, and he goes on a killing spree. I remember me and my wife watched this for the first time years ago. Remember nothing. So this was pretty much brand new eyes, brand new viewing for me. I really like this one. This was a lot of schlocky fun, and I really enjoy it. First off, I like the actor who played Billy. To me, it was very adult Billy, because there's very different variations of Billy. I liked adult Billy because he was pretty good at being like the goody two shoes in the beginning of this film, and he was, I guess, dare I say, endearing at times. But then eventually, once that switch is flipped and he goes full crazy, I liked him as well because he was very subtle. He's just walking around for a lot of times just saying naughty and punish. But he did have a personality as well, so I liked him. I like the other kids, I guess you would say, that played younger versions of Billy. The first one we see, like the youngest Billy, he's just cute. You know, he does what he's supposed to do. And then when he gets older and we see the abused Billy, super good at being scared when Mother Superior's after him. Really harsh scenes to watch. This Mother Superior bitch, she's beating him with belts, and just because he witnessed two people in the orphanage having sex, and she wasn't beating him for that. She was beating him because he didn't know what sex was at the time. She was beating him because he left his room like he wasn't supposed to. And then eventually he's having a nightmare and he leaves his room again, so Mother Superior ties him to the bed, and it's really rough to watch, but this kid does a really good job showing fear and pain. So I liked everyone who played Billy. The other characters, let's talk about Mother Superior. My God, this woman is evil, and it's a wonderful performance. It's hard to say it like that, but kind of like Mrs. Deagle from Gremlins. Wonderful performance of an evil, wicked person. This woman, everything's a sin. She wants no sympathy for any of these kids that break the rules, and this is where Billy gets the whole punish idea from, and strong performance. I love this woman's voice. I remember her from Predator 2 of all places. She's the one in the scene when they're testing the it's not really a dart, but it was like this the curved blade in Predator 2 that was in the character Danny's hands when they pried it out of his body. She's the one that's testing the metal and stuff like that. So I always remember her voice. I love her voice, but really really super good being wicked in this movie. The other characters are just characters. I mean, the acting's fine to be honest, but they're not real memorable. I mean, Linnea Quigley's in there to get naked, per usual. And then the other ones are like there's a Billy's boss is a fun drunk. There's a couple other characters that are just okay. But the main characters, Billy and Mother Superior, are really good. And there's another nun in there who's been sympathetic to Billy through all this time. She's decent too. So acting's fine for what it is. The copy I watched, we're talking about the gore. The copy I watched, I got from Frenzy, was the uncut version, and you could tell. Okay, you can tell that this was edited in together because a lot of the gore that's in this movie, the color doesn't sync right. But what we get in this version is really pretty, really pretty, really good. We get first off, Billy, he he's scary as fuck. Okay, because he when we first see Billy, I love this. I love how it's revealed how the nun, the good nun, is trying to get Billy a job, and she says, "Well, I got this kid that could help you stack boxes." She's talking to the boss. He said, "This isn't a job for a kid." And he turns around and he looks at Billy, and Billy's 18 years old, and he's got nice sized biceps and stuff in this. So Billy's been working out after he's been getting his ass beat by the nun, Mother Superior. In this movie, Billy is super strong. He's not like Superman, but he's overly powerful, and it's good. There's a scene where he breaks up a rape attempt in the back of the toy storeroom because we need more rape in this movie, and he saves the girl by grabbing Christmas lights and wrapping it around the neck of the rapist, and he one hand lifts him up off the ground. And it's a good performance of the actor being Billy, being nuts and scary. And the Christmas lights, the cords are cutting into the guy's neck, and we see some blood drip, and he drops them. And then of course the girl he saves from the rape is scared because Billy just murdered the guy. So Billy doesn't take that too kindly, and he cuts her with a box cutter. And we get to see the box cutter go up her stomach. We get a lot of bludgeonings. Someone gets bludgeoned in the head with a hammer, which is really cool. Killed off screen, but it's good blood splatter. We get a woman shot with an arrow, which is really cool because in this version we see the arrow come through, and then she turns to the camera and she does the whole hold the thing. That was cool. Linnea Quigley's death. That woman, she just loves to get killed in movies, and she loves to get naked. Making out with her boyfriend or whoever on a pool table down in the basement. Goes upstairs to let the cat in. Of course, she's fully topless. And then Billy comes in, and it's a really cool scene. He whips his axe at her, and it goes into the wall right by her, so it's a great shot. And apparently that was a real axe being thrown. And like I said, Billy shows how strong he is. He's picking her up and throwing her down and this and that as she's trying to get away. And he eventually puts her on his shoulder, like a fireman carrying somebody. And then he sees this deer head, because it's like the gaming room, I guess. And he impales her slowly on this deer. And in this version, there's more gore to it. So you actually see the antlers coming out of her body, and she's just hanging there. And then her boy toy comes up, and it's a really cool fist fight between Billy and this kid. He looks like William Zabka from the first Karate Kid. And Billy's just tossing him around the room like a rag doll. But what's cool is this guy gets in some shots, and Billy, he kicks him in the nuts a couple times. I think he hits him with a bat, maybe. He hits him with something, maybe a fireplace poker. But Billy just beats the shit out of him, tosses him out the window. And then there's a few other deaths involved, guns, which are really cool. So yeah, gore is good. I'm sure even in the cut version, it's pretty decent. So, and I like how Billy is. He's not overly strong, but he's a dude that'll kick the shit out of you. So I like that. There's some scene. This movie does have one of those tropes that I hate though, and it's the stupid bumbling cops. Word is out that Billy's going crazy. All right, and we're following these two deputies or what have you, trying to find somebody that is going around in a Santa suit. And they break into one house because they see someone in a Santa suit climbing in a window. It ends up being a dad trying to pretend to be Santa, visiting his daughter. And then, of course, they ruin that surprise because, she yells, "Daddy," and then the guy looks all disappointed. And then there's another scene where just a Santa is walking across the street and he's going towards, I think it's the orphanage, and they just open fire on him because they're yelling, "Stop, stop, get away from the kids." So they open fire on the guy. Really cool death. They find out, I think it's like the pastor or the preacher dressed up to be Santa for the kids. Well, why didn't he stop? He happens to be deaf, naturally. So the dumb cops is a trope that I've always hated, but at least they didn't have sound effects like in Halloween 5. Anyways, yeah. And I really like, well, another disappointment I'm going to say is Mother Superior didn't get her comeuppance. And I really wanted that bitch to go before Billy got his. Billy makes it to the orphanage, and Mother Superior is now in a wheelchair, and she's still dealing with the kids, but she's still a cranky old bitch. And he looks like he's going to, make this final swing with the axe, and he's taken out before he can take her out. And that was just disappointing. I wanted her dead, but Billy had to go. And then, of course, the axe drops in front of his little brother, Ricky. Ricky was a baby when their parents were killed. And, of course, it seems like, once the axe is dropped in front of him, he says the words naughty while looking at Mother Superior. So we know, if you know anything about this series, Ricky's the killer in the next 2. But anyways, I want to say, Silent Night, Deadly Night, really, you can't see with the glare, but deal with it. Really, really enjoyed this one. Schlocky fun. Oh, speaking of schlocky fun, there you go. There's some good comedy in this. One of my favorite scenes is I like once Billy gets the job at the toy store. There's this really fun montage, and it felt like a TGIF type show from ABC's, like Family Matters or Perfect Strangers or something like that, or just like an 80s teen comedy movie where this goofy ass song is playing while Billy is doing all of his work, and it's just so funny and sappy and cheesy because there's even a part where one of the guys is in the background, like he's pouring himself like a whiskey or something. He gives it to Billy, and Billy shakes his head. He's like, "Nope." He holds up that he's got like a one of them cardboard cartons of milk, and he's like, "This is fine for me, buddy." So comedy works as well with that type of stuff. Thought this movie was great. Billy was a good killer. I like the actor who played him. The child abuse scenes are a little too much for me. We don't need that much rape or attempted rape in this film, but overall, I had a lot of fun with Silent Night, Deadly Night. I'm not going to show that anymore because of the glare. But anyways, and I've always loved how, these movies get protested and pulled from theaters, kind of like the Black Christmas remake, because, we shouldn't have a killer, dressing up as Santa Claus because Christians and mothers and blah, blah, blah. But anyways, had a lot of fun with this one. Looking forward to going into the series. I know part 2 has a lot of negativity towards it, and supposedly it gets worse as it goes on because I guess Bill Moseley is involved and Clint Howard, Mickey Rooney. But I will say this: Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 1, had a blast, loved it. So thank you for watching, like and subscribe, all that jazz. Comment below, click the bell. Happy Horror Days, cheers, and naughty.